Just went to order a coffee at Starbucks, which I usually do not do, and the guy at the cash register asked me my pronouns for my cup. I said my pronouns are Trump and DeSantis. His nose earring damn near fell out of his nasal cavity. I will take 500 for things that never happened. There's a lot to take apart here. This is a great way to start the video. First of all, they don't ask your pronouns for your cup because that doesn't make sense. They've got your name on them. The cup has your name on it. They don't need your pronouns because they say your name. They don't say this cup is for they, them. They say this cup is for Laverne, right? They say the name. The pronouns aren't even a factor here. But also, Trump and DeSantis are not pronouns and are actually competitors now. So this is an interesting tweet because Trump is slamming DeSantis and DeSantis has higher rates of approval than Trump does. So this is going to be an interesting election in a couple of years. But those aren't pronouns. Those are proper nouns. There's a difference. And finally, they're not nose earrings. They're called earrings because they go in your ear. If it's in the nose, it's a nose ring. And they don't go in the nasal cavity. There's so much wrong with this post. Special thank you to my YouTube members and patrons for supporting the channel and supporting my content. How's it going, everybody, and welcome back to another subreddit video. Today we are once again returning to r/AreTheCisOk. I can tell you right now, they are in fact not okay. This video will be coming out on a Thursday, so go check out my Twitch because I will be streaming in 2 hours as of this video coming out. If it's not a Thursday, then I won't be streaming, but I stream every Thursday at 7 PM UK time, so go check out my stream. Other than that, if I have the same makeup as in a previous video from like a week or two ago, it's because I recorded these on the same day because I'm trying to get some videos done and out of the way because both Christmas and New Year's are both falling on a weekend, so I'm gonna have less time to record and edit, so I'm trying to get this out of the way so I've got a video prepared. I won't be recording really any videos over the Christmas weekend, but I am going to be recording over New Year's, but I'm also going to be going to a New Year's party, so I'm trying to get stuff done and out of the way. Anyway, that doesn't matter. Let's take a look at the subreddit. Sorry for rambling. An explosion. What is behind the rise in girls questioning their gender identity? Okay, well, I mean, first of all, what about other genders? Like, why is it only female to male trans people that are at question here? What about male to female trans people? Just, you know, that's a thing to point out. But also, an explosion. If there's a rise in people questioning their gender identity and a rise in trans people and that kind of thing, it's acceptance. That's the answer. You can attribute this to many other things, you know, when people that were left-handed were accepted as left-handed and not punished for it, we saw an increase in left-handed people. Now trans people are allowed to be trans without being punished for it, so more people are coming forward and being open about being trans. That's literally it. That's all there is to it. It starts with Fortnite and boneless wings. It ends with gender pronouns and communism. Gender pronouns and communism is going to be the name of my autobiography. I think all I need to say is I need to pull up the picture of Nick Adams saying that an alpha male doesn't need to announce that he's an alpha male, and then side by side it with Nick Adams' name on Twitter here, which has alpha male in brackets. I think that just says everything I'd really need to say, doesn't it? I just found out this guy was a woman because of the sound she made taking a piss in the men's room. Remember, you aren't a perfect replica, and we will always eventually be able to tell. And they call trans people perverts? Why are you I'm assuming a regular person here, a regular normal person, but I could be wrong judging by this post that they might not be a regular normal person. Why are you going into a public toilet and listening to other people piss? I'ma just leave that as an open question. Do you take this cisgender, non-binary, transgender, black lesbian who identifies as a deaf Ukrainian paraplegic with male pronouns to identify as your wife? They do. God, that was exhausting to read. Okay, so we know that this was made by a boomer who has no idea what gender identity is by the sheer amount of contradictory statements in this. Just first and foremost, okay, a cisgender, non-binary, transgender person, that can't exist. Those are three contradictory terms. Cisgender means you're not trans or non-binary. You can't be cisgender and non-binary and transgender. That doesn't work? And then they say with male pronouns and then say to identify as your wife, which again is contradictory. If they're using male pronouns, they're not going to identify as a wife, they're going to identify as a husband. But I think just the only accurate response to a post like this is simply, okay, boomer. By the way, social exclusion is so real when you are the only cis couple in a friend group. We had to listen to them talk about killing all cis people so they can live in a fully trans country. I don't even know if they just forgot about us or were hinting for us to join them as trans. So that didn't happen. Just straight up, let's be real, it didn't happen. It's just not a thing. Trans people aren't idiots, and a lot of trans people aren't comfortable, like trans men particularly aren't comfortable having children because that's something that a man wouldn't do, and that's going to cause a lot of gender dysphoria. Some trans men are comfortable with that, and like, more power to you, but I think the majority of trans men aren't comfortable with that. So if everybody was trans, we would probably see a large decrease in birth rates, and I'm pretty sure trans people are aware of that fact. No trans group is talking about eliminating all cis people from the world. That's just not happening. But also, how big is the friend group if like there's a bunch of trans people and you're the only cis people? Because cis people massively outnumber trans people. Like, just there's a lot of things that don't add up in this statement. Like, if there's 4 of you, there's 2 couples. There's you a cis couple and them a trans couple. Then like, it's not really a friend group. I don't know, it just doesn't add up to me. We've got another pebble throw comic here, so anyway. I identify as an attack helicopter, haha. It's not a funny joke. Right-wingers only have one joke, but 2 genders, 2 jokes. Well, first of all, no, that's not 2 jokes, that's the same joke. That's still a dig at gender. That it's the same joke. Ma'am, this isn't a kitchen. Pretty sure that's the same joke because they're having a stab at the gender, so it's still really just one joke there. Come on, we've never hurt you, unlike your uncle. 4 jokes. Chill, don't go 41%. 5 jokes, and then they show a mirror and say 6 jokes. Half of these are not jokes, and half of these are the same joke that they're pretending are more jokes. Stone throw is just a Nazi. I'm gonna, obviously put that out there. But if your comedy is so weak, you're so bad at being a comedian that you have to rely on making a joke about assault and suicide, and you think that that makes you funny and better than them? You're a pretty bad comedian. Let's be real. If that's what you have to lean on, you're not a good comedian. You've got one joke and suicide, and that's it. How can they pretend to be like funny when that's what they have to rely on? This icon got suddenly changed. Princess Diana. It's blue, pink, and the Wonder Woman logo is white. That's like all there is to that logo. Finally, a profile picture for those who can't seem to wonder what a woman is. Dude, you saw 2 colors and immediately assumed trans, then defended your unfunny cookie cutter joke. People like you have the audacity to say snowflake and then see a literal unintended color coordination and find a way to complain. There was literally a thread of people calling it trans rights. I don't care what you find funny, because people like you live off delusions. Have fun grinding your SD profile picture. Here's another joke. You thinking you could be a game dev. So they're attacking the person based on nothing. The person's like, hey, this isn't a trans profile picture, and they're like attacking their personal being. But genuinely, transphobes are so obsessed with trans people that they make connections where there are none. They're obsessed. They will be out here claiming that Brittany Griner is trans because she has been released from Russia because America made a trade, and then suddenly they're all like, Brittany Griner's trans, and they're obsessed with it. They see pink and blue and go, oh, it must be trans, because they're obsessed with it. They have an unhealthy obsession with trans people. Transphobes have this disease that they have to be obsessed with trans people. Like, it's unhealthy. It's an unhealthy obsession that transphobes have with trans people. It's really, really just an unhealthy obsession. And for the Brittany Griner thing, I just wanted to say that Brittany Griner is clearly a cisgender woman. Multiple factors going in here. First of all, if Brittany Griner was a man who was becoming a woman for like whatever reasons these people seem to spin. One, it's less lucrative. They became a female basketball player. Female basketball players often make below the median income for the city they live in or the state they live in. They get really underpaid. The reason Brittany Griner was even in Russia is because they have to make up money by playing in foreign countries. Second of all, Brittany Griner was arrested by Russia, who is very openly anti-trans and anti-gay. Do we really think that Brittany Griner would be detained by actual Russia and Russia wouldn't out them as trans? That's not gonna happen, is it? That's how we know that Brittany Griner is a biological female. Not that it even matters if they were a biological male, but Russia would have outed them. She would have been outed by Russia, like straight up, but she wasn't because she's biologically female. There is a difference. Can we keep cis people away from kids? Can we just step away from the children and stop obsessing over the genitals that a child has? How about that? How about we do that for a second? Yeah? How about we leave children alone and don't obsess over their genitals, perhaps? This is a conservative men versus liberal men post, and I'm not even gonna read the whole thing because they've gone out of their way to make 15 points for both of them. But I just need to go ahead and replace the image that they've used for the conservative man and just put in a picture of old Mayo man from the earlier post. Good old Nick Adams. We're gonna put him in there because he's clearly the conservative alpha male, so we're just going to put a picture of him over the conservative they've used because he is the most alpha male of the conservatives, and if he's their most alpha male, then it really, that's all you need to know that conservative alpha males are pretty bad. And the final post. Trans women are women. 1,000 years later, male skeleton, approximately 25 years old. I think I've talked about this in a video previously, but they've actually moved away from identifying the gender of a skeleton because it's proven to be really inaccurate. A bunch of various studies and tests have shown that the way that they were gendering skeletons is inaccurate, and they have instead moved to trying to gender them based on the things they've seen around them, better identify them to that gender, because that makes more sense. So being like, oh, the bone structure of this person was a male is wrong because they might not necessarily have been male. So they're just not doing that. They're moving away from doing that because it was inaccurate. So I've talked about that before, I think. But anyway, that's where I'm going to end the video, everybody. I hope you have enjoyed. Oh boy. If you want to support me in making more content like this, then I have a Patreon in the description down below, or equally you can click the join button on the channel to support me. It helps a lot more than you might realize, but by no means should you feel like you have to. I'm going to keep making content regardless. Special thank you to all of the people that do support all of my content. All of you are wonderful, amazing people. You are all great. You all mean so much. Thank you so much. Happy New Year, everybody. I think this is probably coming out after the new year. I'm not sure exactly, but Happy New Year regardless. And I will see you in the next video. As always, peace out.